Hello everybody, here we are again back in my workshop. My name's Colwin Way. Got the lovely Vicky Way behind the camera. Finley and Charlie are busy at the moment, so Vicky's here. Today's project, it's already drawn a little bit of interest, so we're going to get straight to it. And we're going to do one of our Christmas carousels, or Christmas pyramids as they're known. And just to drag you on to the next sort of progression after this project, just something to show you really. This month's Woodturning magazine, so with a wonderful Mark Baker on the front, late great Mark Baker. In this month's magazine we've got the start of a 3-tier pyramid, which is the one here to my right. Now it's two-part, that 3-tier pyramid, and both of these Christmas carousels or pyramids we're going to explain as an easy project. Before you scoff at me, we're breaking it down to make each piece or each component one at a time, so don't worry. No matter whether you just started your wood turning journey, this is going to be doable for you. Okay, so in the magazine for the 3-tiered version, which we're not doing today, you will also find, because I know you're sticklers for instructions and drawings and all that sort of stuff, you will get all of the instructions for your first part, and then how to make step by step. So if you haven't got a copy of the Woodturning magazine, grab it, because you make one of those fairly simply. You've then got to decorate it, and that'll be the next issue. We're going to start nice and simple, okay, less parts. We're going to do a single tier, okay, single tier pyramid, and that's the idea. We've got it working there. It's candle power, so as that heat rises, the impeller turns, and everything moves. Are you okay, Vicky? Yeah. So everything moves. We've got scene holder down the bottom. I'm going to explain all of these little bits and bobs. We've got lots of things to make. We've got some little wise men to create. We've got some sheep to make. We've got some Christmas trees. We've got snowmen. We've got all sorts of things. Angels. Anything you want to make, we can make and put on it. The tradition is, and if you didn't know, Christmas pyramids or Christmas carousels, they're a German tradition, and they represent several things. The scenes, or the things that they depict traditionally are either the nativity or a woodland scene. So you can sort of change around. You can have a woodland scene on one scene, you can have a nativity on the other. If you look at the big one here, we've got angels at the top, we've got the 3 wise men, and then we've got the nativity down the bottom with the sheep, Mary and Joseph and everything there. You can also just have a fun scene. So on a 1-tier pyramid, for instance, the picture that you've already seen to advertise today, we've got a snowman and we've got a Christmas tree. We've done some of those things for you already. Okay, so and in another couple of weeks' time, we're going to create a nativity scene as well. So that'll help you decorate your pyramids once you've made them. So, like I say, don't look at these projects as difficult, because they're not. They're just complex in terms of the amount of pieces that we have to make, but each individual piece is nice and simple. Okay, there are a few bits to make. If you're struggling, there are a few bits that you'll need to acquire in terms of bearings and pins and all those sorts of things. If you're struggling with those, go on my website, Colwin Way, woodturner.com. Either message me there, you'll see bits for sale, including all the bearings, the pins, those sorts of things. Again, on the website you've got all sorts of plans that you can download, buy and download, to make these, to make all sorts, smokers, Christmas trees, those sorts of things. So if you're interested in that, go ahead. But like I said, Woodturning magazine for the big one. Watch today, record today, watch it back, all those sorts of things, okay? I'm not going to give you any measurements as a line drawing here, so get a pen and paper. I'm going to give you the measurements verbally, you write it down, watch this video back either through Facebook, through Instagram, or through YouTube. It's all out there, or will be out there anyways. Alright, so no excuses, guys, get working, and girls, get working. So, Vic, over to the lathe, if you wouldn't mind. We'll keep our carousel moving there. In terms of bits that you need to buy, I'm going to show you a couple of bits that you are going to need fairly early into your build. I'll also show you next part of the build. I'm going to show you the brass candle holders, because it's very important. If we're burning candles, there needs to be a liner between the timber and the candle. Otherwise, you're going to have all sorts of problems. Certainly, if you sell anything, it's a requirement. You must have it. It's a regulation. In this country, I'm not sure the laws in other countries. You'll have to do some research for yourselves on that one. But I know in this country you must have it. Brass liners are fairly easy to buy. You can buy brass or glass candle holders anywhere. I get mine online. A lot of the brass ones I get from Germany. Again, you know, the area, Erzberg region, where they're famous for making these. So, ask me questions. Vicky's going to ask me in turn. So there's a couple of the bits that I'm talking about. Brass pin. This is a bit of silver steel, 3mm, and I just cut that into a slightly shorter version to go with our pyramid. We'll show you that later, so don't worry. Very, very good friend of mine, Mr. Robert Ralph, makes my brass bearings, and I'm going to just bring this up to the camera. That is, it's not a brass bearing, sorry, a steel bearing. This is what the centre pin runs on. It's a low friction cup bearing, so not what you would associate with a bearing at all, but it's just a little piece of
sideways as well,
steel with a little dimple in the middle, polished dimple, just so there's no friction on there. So those two parts, like I say, if you do need to get them and you can't find them online, Colwin Way, woodturner.com. Okay. Let's get started. We're going to start from the ground up.
Birthday?
Oh, birthday. Oh, well done, Vic. Well done. I've got to say a very happy birthday to Michael, 75 yesterday. So happy birthday, Michael. Hope you enjoy the skews. Well done.
Happy birthday to you.
I think I'm going to grab our carousel over there. I might need to let me just blow it out a minute. And this is where I spill wax all over the place. I'm just going to grab this one to bring over. So what we have to do, we're going to start building this from the ground up. Like I said, every little bit is going to be explained, so do not worry. It's an easy build, as they say, as I say. So what we have, feet. These little areas here, these are a nice bit of flat work to start with. We're then going to look at the candle holder, which has the brass liner inside. We've got the main stage, what I call the stage here. We've then got two nice little bits of spindle turning, the supports. We've got a centre column, okay, which needs to be drilled through. We've got what I call the scene support. So this is where your scene, your little figures rest and rotate around. And then you've got your arch, obviously not turned, we'll look at that. You've got a main hub. And now the hub is going to involve using the indexing on your lathe. Now it's seldom used with a lot of turners. So we're going to look at how we use the indexing to create 12 equal positions all the way around, for then to put our impellers and impeller holders. And I'll show you that separately in a moment. So those parts. And one thing that I haven't got on this one yet, because I only knocked this up today, is a little finial just on the top. So that's just the finial just to stop the hub holder falling down onto the pin and then grinding out on the little arch here. So there's a few things to do, and like I say, it's not a difficult project, it's just a time consuming one because of all the parts to make. Okay, any questions yet, Vic?
No, can't see any.
Okay.
A few people having problems with internet.
Okay. My uploading is constant, so it's going to be, unfortunately, guys, download, because I expect there'll be a few people that have no problem with the internet as well. So you know what it's like. I say it all the time. I can't control these things, so I'm really sorry. Look back on YouTube later or Instagram later. If there's any real issues, I've got the hard copy here. We'll just get that uploaded instead. So if some of you are finding it good and some aren't, it's your download, unfortunately. So I'm sorry about that. Okay, so let's start. We're going to start with an easy bit, what I call an easy bit really. So I'm not going to make all four of these feet. I'm not going to make all four of the candle holders. I want to show you how each one is done. And so we can get loads of stuff in, I'll just do one of each. You know that you've got to make four of each in terms of the first two bits. Okay, so no problem there. So C-jaws are going to go on. We're going to have sanding discs. So I'm going to tell Vicky where she's got to be. It's the only time I can get away with bossing her around. So Vic, you're going to have to come over nice and close. Don't need to be on my face anymore. I'm not going to be, well, I'm going to be talking, but you don't need to see me. And we're going to start with a real asset to our lathe. You've seen me use this before. We're going to start with a little sanding disc. Dust extraction will be on from time to time, guys, so I won't speak.
Question. Somebody who's new to wood turning, what's the best way to join two blanks together?
To join two blanks, who's that? Who's asked that one?
It's come through Power Tools.
Join two blanks together. Need a bit more information on that one as to what sort of blanks.
Two blanks of wood together.
2 blanks of wood,
yeah.
Yes. We need a bit more information. What sort of size are they? What sort of shape are they? Right, so the feet, they're going to end up... Okay, Vicky, you come nice and close. There we go. They're going to end up like this. Okay, that shape. So what we need to do is scribe every single one in that shape. I used to use an old 10p piece, an old 10p piece. I stopped doing that because I don't have any pennies now. Don't use coins anymore. We're going to make a little template. So templates for everything. So let me just show you. So there's my template for the feet. We've got a template for the main body, the main stage. We've got a template for the arch, or half of the arch. We only need one half. And then a template for the impellers. So all we're going to do, like I said, I'm only going to do one for you guys. We don't need to mess around with doing loads, but we're going to, let's get a pencil that's got a point on it for a start. There we are. That's first curve. You can use anything. You've got a jar of wax in the workshop. Anything that's round. I mean, we deal with rounds all day as turners, so a bit of old timber, you can do the same there. Look, anything, doesn't matter. In terms of the sizing, I said I'm going to give you sizes for everything. So this first piece, okay, we're looking at around 25mm, so 1 inch by about 12mm, so 1/2 inch, and then about 70mm, so 2 3/4. And all we're going to do, I won't sand because this is obvious, you don't need to see me do this. So all we're going to do is sand that circular, so we end up with a piece like that.
What do you use to make the templates?
This is just card. This is I'll be honest with you, this is just the back of an old writing pad. Okay, so it's just a bit of card. So nothing too overthought. And then I've also got on this piece of card, this bit of template, you can see a couple of little holes there. Okay, so just like the smokers we done a few weeks ago, we're going to hold everything together with 6mm dowel.
Where can you get the plans for the templates from?
Go on to colwinwaywoodturner.com and that'll have everything on there, so you'll be able to download the plans on there. So, or listen to my measurements and make it up yourself. Because the nice thing about this is, as long as you've got the measurements, you can then, you know, put your stamp on it, create your own shapes and design. Okay, Vicky's not going to like this, but we're going to be moving around all day today because we're going to move to the pillar drill as well. Not yet. Okay. Right then, Vic, you can go to the pillar drill.
Why, thank you.
We get a bit of scrap wood and we're going to drill our first couple of holes and then we've made our first bit. It's that easy. Safety specs on, 6mm drill bit in there, and I'm using a lip and spur bit. And what I'll do is I'll just set the drill so it doesn't go all the way through. A bit further than that then. Alright, so just a couple of holes in there, 6mm. They're going to join everything together. So that's your first bit. 4 of those needed. So next thing, we're going to create, this is the little cup that holds the brass candle liner. Okay, so we're going to create these. It looks at first to be a complex piece of turning. It's not. Nothing that we're doing is complex. We're going to start off like this. So I would advise a long strip of timber. If you have a planer thicknesser, thickness everything down to a consistent thickness. Okay, because that's one thing you don't have to do then. Most of the pieces here I've got to my thickness via a thicknesser and then just turn the outside edges. It's much easier. Now this is a really nice bit of turning. What I've done, 42mm, that matches most of the brass holders that you can get. 42mm. Lily's got the part numbers for the drill bits, so either the adjustable one or a 42mm Forstner bit. We're then going to drill a hole of 6mm right the way through. That's going to connect then into our holder. Okay, so we need to hold this on the lathe somehow. So what we'll do, and this is a piece of sapele, what we're going to do is use a wooden drive, and that's just a piece of timber just turned to a taper. So we can just move that one off for the moment. And so what I've done, I've got 2 here, one that goes onto a screw chuck and just a tapered bit of turning. And then this one goes into my sigils, which I've got on the lathe at the moment. Look. And again, another little taper. So we're going to use that one. I'm going to move our foot for the minute. So you could, if you wanted to, just cut the corners off these squares. Okay, I've been a bit lazy. I haven't done that. So I've drilled lots of holes on my length of timber, cut them up. That's given me these little blocks like this. Don't forget you've got the hole going all the way through, the 6mm, and you've got the 42mm. I think from memory it's about 17mm deep. Okay, that one. That then just fits over. Before you do this, make sure you've lined your lathe up so you've got your head and tailstock together. You're going to use single pointed centre. Get a little bit of friction on that. A nice small tool rest. Don't want anything too clunky in the way. Alright, you can move that extractor out your way a minute. It's been a bit of a pain. There we go. Alright, that's it. Right, so what we're going to do, I'm not going to touch these faces here. I just want to clean the outside out and make a sort of cauldron shape. So, you know my background is come from a production workshop, and so if you're going to make one of these, want to make 2, want to make 3. So you can do a bundle of these, you can do a bundle of the feet, you can do a bundle of the platforms, you know. It just makes a little bit more sense. And all these timbers are a mixture of scrap ends of timber from different projects that I've had in the past. I'm just using a bowl gouge here, a little tiny 6mm.
When you say line a lathe up, what do you mean?
So just do the kiss test. We'll do it in a minute. Vic remind me to do the kiss test.
Okay.
So where you just bring the 2 centres together. It doesn't matter whether your headstock is a movable headstock or whether it's a fixed headstock. You can have misalignment on the head and the tail, mainly due to the bed being twisted. So if you've got an uneven floor, the bed will twist and then you have a misalignment. Don't be tempted to shim or file anything away. It's to do with the feet placement.
That's from Helen Smith.
That's from Helen, yeah. So if that's an issue, then just line up. We'll do it in a minute. So a little cauldron shape. I'm just going down to round. Nearly there. There we are, we're down to solid round now, so all I'm going to do now is just bring the back up, not forgetting there's a hole in the middle, a big hole in the middle. So like I say, just a little cauldron shape. You can decorate this as well if you want to. Just tidying it up a little bit. Now if you want to decorate it, I tend to use, I've got a series of old thread chasing tools. Now this is a 20 TPI thread chasing tool from about 1700 and something. Okay, so it's an old one basically. I bought this as an old antique fair, at an antique fair, not an old one. And bought a bundle of them, put them in a handle, and just made the mark on the handle of the teeth that's on the end. So yeah, just a little touch onto that. It just gives a little bit of decoration, that's all. And then sand them up and make another 3. You've got 4 candle holders there. 4 candles. It's an in-joke. If you're a Brit, you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say 4 candles. Okay.
Rodney.
That's a different thing altogether. There we are. So that's our candle holder. Brass insert goes in there. Then your candle in there as well. Okay. So now that section here is going to be doweled together onto the foot. Yes, Vic, you got a question?
Question from Brian. What angle do you grind your spindle gouges to?
Spindle gouges 45. 45 on the spindle gouge, 55 on my bowl gouges. I didn't give you measurements for that one, so, well, yes I did. I gave you the diameter, didn't I? I've finished diameter there, 55 mil, so it's about 2 1/8 ish. And overall thickness of that one is 35 mil, which equates to around about inch and 3/8. Okay, 4 needed. 4 needed. It will depend on what candle liners you can find, though. So, like I say, brass or glass makes no difference. So, we've got the feet. We've got the candle holder. So now we need to do the base that everything's going to locate into. The base looks like this. Okay, so it's the biggest bit of timber we've got so far. And on the back, we've got, again, another series of 6 mil holes. On the front, we've got 2 8 mil holes. This is going to be for the columns that support the arch. In the middle, we've got a slightly larger hole. Now that's going to hold the brass cup bearing. Okay, brass cup bearing fits in the middle there, and that's the silver rod then rests on that to rotate. Okay, so there's a few things to do in preparation. So I've got just a complete blank here at the moment, but I've used a set of dividers to drill that, or sorry, to mark that out. So I'm just going to make a little bit of a better hole in the middle. We're now going to mark it. So again, template. Okay, so here's our template. So what I've done, we've got our 4 holes. So I've just gone right angles with my lines, and I've come in 10 mil from the edge here. I'm going to just put those marks on, and then we're going to turn them over and put the 2 holes on the other side. Okay, so I've got to concentrate here. So you're going to hear me go quiet for a minute. We're going to concentrate because this needs to be dead right. So 4 holes in the bottom for the feet, and that's going to be 6 mil. Make sure I put them in the right place. There we are, 4 holes then in the other side, and you may have seen me draw a little line here. Okay, so I've got my 4 holes. Four holes there. My little line is going to line up nicely on the back. And the reason that I've done that is because I want to make sure that those support columns are in the right place. I don't want them over one of the feet. Okay, then you need to be away from the feet. On that side, so there's our support columns, that's the side that also needs to be drilled out in the centre for the bearing. So let's just drill our 6 mil holes first. So that's on the back, yeah, but you can come over to the drill again. Alright, so there's our feet holes, our 6mm holes there. I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to put an 8mm drill bit in there now, so slightly bigger, because that's going to hold the columns. Just going to change my depth again. I don't want to go all the way through. Nice, fairly shallow those. 2 more holes, one nice and small. I don't have a particular size, a specific size for that. Let's go. I'm going to go 3mm. 3mm, so we're going to go, and this one's going to go all the way through. It all comes clear in a minute. This one's going to go all the way through, right into centre. Okay, so far we've got the 4 feet holes, 1 hole going all the way through. On this side they're going to support the columns, and this centre hole now is going to be turned just a little bit bigger on one side only to take the bearing that everything's going to run in. This is probably the most complex part of the whole build. Okay, that's all we have. Okay, so now we can go back to the lathe. Now we can drive it. I'm not going to take anything off the lathe here. We've still got that piece of timber that's going to now act as my drive, with the assistance of a little bit of that router matting that I use all the time. Okay, so I just get a whole sheet of router matting, got a bundle of it down there. Again, I think, Lily, you've got the number for the router matting, haven't you? Pop that up, and then we're going to place this over there using the single pointed centre to find centre. And because I've already thicknessed this down on my planer thicknesser, all I need to do now is shape the outside edge. My drive is friction here, secured nicely with the single pointed centre. Lathe speed down to start off with. Look at that, magic. Lovely little drive. Rather than coming off an edge, I'm going in from the edge. Just to stop any breakout. There we are. Again, if you want to sand, and if you want to decorate, decorate. Again, just another quick demonstration of that. Nice and high with the handle of the scraper or the thread chaser, just to play around with it, putting a few lines, a little bit of decoration in. You can sand at this point if you want to. How quick is that though? How easy? I know I said it at the beginning, but that's what I mean. It's so easy. Once you've got this set up, and it doesn't cost anything. It's a piece of timber, piece of router matting. It's just that little bit of preparation and relatively quick. I wasn't joking earlier where I said I just knocked this one up this morning. It takes, once you've cut the timber out, it's that quick to do. So that's our base. We can start thinking about putting things together in a moment. Okay, so we've got a foot. It's going to go in one of the footholes. There. We've got that. That's going to sit on the top. Now remember, you've got 4 of these. This is why I was saying about making sure that these are in the right place. You want these to be equal positions to the candles. Okay, there's no point having them in all sorts of irregular positions. I'll get the finished one to show you what I mean if you don't quite understand. So we look at this one. I'll move to you, Vic, that's fine. If you don't quite understand, you can see how equal the candle holders are, and then these columns need to be placed in between those. There's no point having them sort of one close to the candle holder and one the same on the other side. They've got to be evenly distributed. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3 pieces done. Whilst we've got that way of holding on the lathe, we're going to do the scene holder. It's done in the same way. So we now need to make one of these. You might have guessed how we do that. 8mm hole right the way through the middle. Bit of cedar there. I've got a 8mm hole already through. We're going to bring the tailstock up. That's going to be our centre. Oh. One really important bit that I never put in there then, and that's the router matting. Without the router matting, you're going to get a horrible screecher burn and everything will stop, and then you'll have a horrible mark on your piece of timber. The router matting is really good for friction and protection to the timber, of course. There we are. So you can see how easy it would be to do lots of these at once. Same thing again, we're just going to trim the outside edge. Dead easy, that's it, it's done. It's done. All that groundwork was done before. If you're struggling to get timber of this size, so there's a couple that I haven't given you sizes of here. If you're struggling to get this sort of timber, you can get, I know online, you can get plywood. Okay, so you can get varying thicknesses of plywood. Absolutely works well. Here's a piece here. I think this is 12mm. Birch ply is far better. Okay, you can get that online. Like I say, most of the platform for the big 3-tier pyramid over there was done from plywood that I bought online, 6mm plywood. Okay, so you can get it. Sorry, the big platform, the main stage here, I didn't tell you earlier, 13.5mm, sorry, 13.5 centimetres, or around about 5 1/4. And this was, in terms of thickness, this is 10mm, so about 3/8. The platform we've just done, finished size, just under 90mm or 3 1/2, and again we're at about 6mm there, so about 1/4 inch in thickness. But you know, if you're struggling to get certain size timber, make it work for yourself. You know, do the sizes that you can get. There we go. Look at that. How easy is it? I'm going to rename this demonstration Easy. Okay. They're straightforward. So what are we on next? So we've done the platform holder. We need a centre column. A little bit trickier now. We're going to up the ante a little bit. We've got to make a tiny 3mm hole quite a long way through a piece of timber. So I'm going to change up to me now, Vix. We're going to change our chuck. Get rid of the seafloors just for the minute. And we need to now make one of these. Okay, That's our centre column, so the bit that holds the seam holder, that little bit that we just made, that will then locate into there via a little tenon. Okay, the centre pin going all the way through, so that's drilled out. We've got to drill that out first, and then we can do a little bit of shaping on that. The centre doesn't have a tenon, because that just is just left in midair, and the pin comes up through and through the little archway. Okay, so that's our next job. So what have I got? I've got, let's have another piece of sapele here. We're going to drill the hole first. It's really important that you drill these holes first. If you try and do the turning and then drill a hole up through the middle, what will probably happen with most twist drills, especially of that tiny little size, they'll veer off. They'll come out the side. Okay, so we're going to drill the hole first. So my favourite chuck, we're going to use the one with the knuckle dusters on. We're developing a cool new version of these aluminium ones, which actually locate onto your mounting jaw, so in the same way all your other jaws do. So that will be coming soon. They're in test at the moment. I've got a couple of sets down there that we're playing with, just to make sure it will work properly and all that sort of thing. If you haven't got a set of these, go with a set of pin jaws of some sort. You may not have an Axminster chuck, for instance, so you need another set of jaws, something that will mimic these in some sort of way. I've purposely gone a little bit bigger on my piece of timber, but let me give you the length of this one. This is 1200, so 120 millimeters, 12 centimeters, which equates to about 4 3/4 inches. We're going to start with a nice small drill bit, as in length, okay, because otherwise if we go straight in with a long series drill bit, there's my long series drill bit, so you can imagine how bendy that is. It'll veer off ever so quickly. So we're going to start off with a very short one, okay, nice and small and dumpy. Get the hole started, then go to our long series. So back in again then, Vic. So starting off with this one, and this is the moment to not be impatient, not be greedy with how quick this is working. Okay, we're going to take our time, clear the swarf regularly. Just an example of another set of jaws you could use. I've used these on the last demo that we've done. If you remember these jaws, these are little pin jaws, what I call pin jaws, and they're nice and small, but they do go down to very small centre, so you can hold quite small drill bits in them as well, and small pieces of timber like this. Okay, quick swig of coffee. If there's any members of the Gloucester Woodturners watching today, well, I'll see you tomorrow night. We're going to do the same sort of thing. Same sort of thing, but different. Right then, so one hand on the chuck. Nice and gentle. I want this to feed in nice and slowly. Don't want any movement. Well, I say I don't want any movement. There will be some movement, and this is why we're going to drill first. Okay, once we've got this hole done, we're going to then turn around that hole. This is always going to be the end that I use as the tenon, because this is going to be the most central end. We will get some movement, but I'll accept that. That's absolutely fine, and I'll taper down. No questions, David?
Not a lot, no.
Any questions we don't get to, guys, you know what happens. I get to them and later on, and I'll answer them for you tomorrow. There we are. That's all the way with that drill. So now we can go long series. And we can finish this off. Remember, clear the swarf regularly. This is a piece of sapele. It's a fairly neutral grain. It's not a heavy grain. I would call something like oak, ash, heavy grain timbers. That's where the drill bit wants to follow those softer areas in the grain. But look, I'm doing this very slowly, making sure drill bit doesn't get clogged up, not drilling too much at one time. That's what causes the drift in drill bits. Last little bit, I think we're there. We're through. We're all the way through. So let's have a look, see where we are, see how out of centre that other end is. Look, now that's what, miles out. We're going to make that work though. I'll show you why. Once we finish this, no one will ever know how far out that drill bit was. So back to centres. Back to centres. So we're going to use, we can use anything, any friction drive. You can use a pro drive. I'm going to go, let's go to pro drive just to take away the corners, and then I'll go to the light pool drive to finish shaping. So this is going to be the top where we're wildly out. That's going to be the top, and then the tenon end down there. So to start with, we'll just use a single pointed centre in the tailstock.
Where do you get your long drill bits from, please?
I get all my drill, anything that I can't get from Axminster. We do a series of long series drill bits. Anything I can't get from those guys, I'll go immediately online. I used to have a friend that worked for a well-known helicopter manufacturer close to me in the southwest of the UK here. He doesn't work there anymore, unfortunately, because I used to get all of his Friday afternoon drill bits. And if anybody's in aviation, in engineering, in terms of aircraft, they know that pretty much drill bits and things like that are one-use items, so they used to be discarded. So I used to get benefit from all the Friday afternoon drill bits, as he called them. But like I say, it's not there anymore. So online, guys, if you can't get them from us and Axminster, and Lily might put up the long series section of the drill bits, then go online. So all I'm going to do is rough down to start with, that's all. Nice quick speed, about 2,000 revs. So that's rough down. We can now turn centres around a little bit, because I don't want a big bulky centre like that there. So I'm going to go to my light pool drive. Light pool drive, or let me just show you another one, just in case you've got one of these already. Something like that's quite a good one. That's an old engineering centre, but that's a friction drive. That can go in the headstock. I'll show you. That can go in the headstock. That'll drive. So that's my tenon end. That's my top end. We're going to create a tenon, of course. So a little bit of playing around now. You can have so much fun with these little bits of spindle turning. Now, Vic, I'm just going to grab the camera a minute and get right up on top. Then you can see firsthand when I make mistakes. Okay, so let's go. Beading and parting tool. I'm going to grab the drill bit that we used to do the centre hole in our stage. the centre hole in our stage. And I'm going to measure that. We're going to create the tenon first. Now, just use your imagination, do whatever shape you want to do. Let's get the skews out. We know we've got to play with the skews at some time. So a little V-cut, little V-cut. Usual rule with the skew when you're rolling beads up with the tool rest. And then what should we do at the top? We're going to come down in diameter a little bit, of course. Don't forget you do have a 3mm hole running through the middle, so don't go too crazy with this shaping. And let's go around over here. Another half beadlet. Let's have a play with the spindle gouge next. The spindle gouge will do a little OG at the top. And then a nice deep gully here.
Bob has asked, when are you going to be doing Taming the Skew again?
Taming the Skew. Well, actually, we're going to have a little bit of Taming the Skew in a couple of weeks when we do Nativity. We'll also have a little bit on Thursday, because we're going to make a little Christmas tree as well. There we are. That's a shape, isn't it? That'll do us. And then, of course, a little bit of sanding. I'm not going to do any sanding for you today, but have a quick look at that one. That's going to be our centre pin. Okay. Cool, and go back again now, Vic. So that's our centre pin. So that's going to go into the scene holder, providing I made the tenon the right size. There we are, that's all good. That's the scene holder. The centre pin, which I haven't shaped yet, comes from, like I said, 3mm silver steel. Now that may not go, oh yeah, it go through all the way yet. There we are. So what we need to do here, and I can't do that yet because we haven't made the rest of the carousel, we'll need to cut that to size, and you can either do that with a hacksaw. You've got a lathe, you've got chucks, you've got jaws that can close down to support this, and then just hacksaw through, without the lathe running of course, hacksaw through. And then we need to just grind a little point onto the end of this one. I'll show you that on Thursday. I think we've got quite a fair way into that now. Let's grab our finished one just to show you where we are. A lot of work for you guys to go away and crack on with. Okay, so we have so far, we've got the feet made, you've got your candle holders made, you've got your bottom stage, you've got your scene holder here, and also we've got that centre column done. Okay, so there's quite a lot to carry on with. Next time, so on Thursday, we're going to look at doing the actual seam, the side columns. The side columns support the arch. We'll look at the arch as well. And then we've got the hub, the blade holders and the blades themselves. Okay, so that's all for Thursday. Oh, and of course the top finial, very important part. That's it for today. So I hope you've enjoyed that, guys. Don't be intimidated by this project. It's not a difficult project. It just takes a little bit of time, okay? Have fun with it, enjoy your build. Any parts you need, like I said, go to the website or go to Colwin Way, woodturner.com. I've got the bearings and all the other bits and bobs, and we're all there to ask questions as well. So enjoy that, start building. See you on Thursday, 4 o'clock in my workshop. Vicky's going to turn the camera off now, otherwise I'm just going to carry on waffling. Aren't you, Vicky? Any questions before we do?
Hang on. No, can't see any. Everybody says thank you.
Cool. And we want to see more pictures. We're getting loads of really, really good pictures of nutcrackers, of smokers, of all those things. So I can't wait to see a few of these. See you Thursday, guys. Take it easy.